Hi, guys. Thank you all for being here. I'm so freaking excited to get into this with you guys. Okay, you guys can hear me. Good. All right, let me share my screen. Why do I always forget how to do this? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Share. All right, sorry, present. All right, so sorry, let me. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Can you see the notes?
Yes.
Dang it. Can you see them now?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I want.
There you go.
Okay, can you see the notes now?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. So, this is my method for creating content that converts by simplifying your messaging to attract the right people who truly need what you have to offer. This is not about increasing your views or going viral or really increasing your follower count, although this is a way to attract your ideal followers and not just like randos. Um, and the truth is, your audience is already full of people who want to buy from you. You just haven't given them a reason to yet. Messaging is everything. And this is exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do today in your content. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Katie. I'm a stay at home mom. I have a 4-year-old, two dogs, and 19-month-old twins. So, to say that my life is busy would be a huge understatement. So, I don't have a lot of time. I found myself spending hours creating content only for it to fall flat and just not really work for me. It was almost like it was working against me. And I'm sure you guys can probably relate. Um, whoops. So, not only there's a window blocking your presentation. Uh-oh. Enter full screen. Okay, hang on. It says I'm screen sharing. You guys can't see it?
Katie, we can see it. There's just a pop-up window that says audience window. Um, and I'm wondering if it's on our end, but it's not. Like I'm trying to exit out of it on my just to make sure it's not me. But it says you can enter into full screen or you can just completely X out of it.
Did that work?
No. So you don't see that little pop-up window?
No. Hang
Oh,
on.
that's so weird. Maybe unshare and then try resharing.
Stop share.
I've never seen that window before, and I do this stuff a lot.
Okay, what about this? Can you see it now?
It's not sharing yet.
Oh. Okay. Now?
So you're sharing, but it's the same
Yeah.
window. Let me
Okay.
read it. The window is what your audience sees.
Maybe we can
Drag it to
guide
the
you to the X
screen.
so you can X out if you don't see it. It's like very weird.
Hang on.
Screen.
Hang on a second. Wait. Now can you see it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Okay. Sorry. All right, back to it. So I have 10 years of experience in sales. So I spent Right after I graduated college, I got a degree in marketing. I went into inside sales and then transitioned into outside sales. So I have over 5 years of experience in corporate selling. And then I started in network marketing in 2020. So 5 years in social selling as well. When I first started this business, it's been about 13 months since I started this business. So last April, I went viral. I hit my first 1K followers in the same month, but I barely made enough money to cover a Starbucks run that month. And so that's kind of when I had that light bulb moment or that aha moment where I was like, okay, something's got to change because I'm not here just to go viral, right? Like I'm here to make money. Why is this an important skill to learn? It is the key to making your content work for you. So, I was just talking about how we spend a lot of time creating content. Obviously, we want this to grow our business for us. About 20 to 30% in general of your content should be conversion content, but I've actually somehow gotten my nurture and convert content to mesh so you can nurture and convert at the same time. A lot of people will tell you do 60% growth content, 20% conversion content, and 20% nurture content. But when you figure out how to get your content to nurture and convert at the same time, you can do about 50-50. I'm sorry, I'm just realizing I can't see my notes. So I just exited full screen. But you guys can see my notes now, can't you?
Yes.
Yes, but it's fine if that helps you.
Hang on, I just did present, enter full screen mode, but then I can't see my notes. I don't understand.
I did see your notes before.
Hang on, sorry.
Katie, when you go to share the Zoom, when you share your screen from Zoom, you'll have to go out and then go back to reshare. Go to advanced and click on share a portion of your screen, and you'll have the green box outline where you select what you want it to show.
Sure. See, I can't figure out present. I just have to do it with the notes in it. Yeah. Okay, maybe now. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm just gonna do it with the notes. Sorry, y'all. I can get back to this. Share. Now it's back to, hang on a second. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes.
Can you see the notes?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, finally figured out. I'm so sorry. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is I'm not saying you should stop posting relatable content. Not every post should be meant for converting, but a good rule of thumb is at least 20 to 30% of your content should be conversion content. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because I really struggled for a long time to figure out how to create this type of conversion content. And I noticed from conversations I was having with people in my DMs that a lot of other people were struggling to create this kind of content too. The good news is that creating content that converts is a lot easier than you think. You're probably just overcomplicating it. And a few minor tweaks can take your content from crickets to new leads and sales. Okay, the rule of one is a very old, well-known marketing strategy. This is not something that I made up. This is something that's tried and true. So once you get this method down, you can reuse this over and over and over and over forever. Like this isn't like a fad or a viral trend that's just going around that's going to die out in a couple of months, right? So the rule of one basically says to solve one problem one way for one person. So the first step, and this is why I have you fill out the ideal customer avatar worksheet, which hopefully you have done. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to take the time to go through that, because that is the first step to really understanding how to create content that converts, right? You have to know who you're speaking to. And it's true when they say that you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. In fact, 90% of businesses fail because they don't understand their ideal client well enough. So the second step is the one problem. And I understand that your product or your offer, or you, if you're in the coaching or mentorship space, probably solve a lot of problems, right? Like you're probably thinking like, you want me to pick one problem? Like, are you crazy? And listen, I get it, but this is going to help you create content, create messaging that speaks directly to your ideal client or customer to attract them, to attract the right people and get them to take action. If you don't know that one problem, you can do some market research to figure it out. The best way to do that is really just to post like polls in your story, asking your audience, you know, what do you struggle with the most? Or question boxes. You can go to larger accounts in your niche and read through their comments. Actually, there was a post, I can't remember who posted it, but the other day she asked, it was basically like a free coaching type thing. And she was like, ask your questions in the comments. And it was like a gold mine for market research for me. I saved it, I was screenshotting it. So that's actually a really good way to figure out what your audience needs. I just know for me, like, especially in the beginning, when people told me to do market research and they were telling me to go to like Answer the Public or Google or Quora or things like that never helped me out much. But once I started engaging with my audience and asking them what they needed, and once you start to, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but once you start to create content and position yourself in a way that you are the authority, you are the person that they trust, they will start coming to you with their problems and you will be able to create content about that. So if you have people in your DMs now that are saying, hey, like I struggle with XYZ or whatever it is, create content about that. Speak to them in your content. Let me make sure I got all that. Oh, and the one way, of course, is your product or you. So this is not just like make money online or how to lose weight. This is called selling the transformation, which we'll talk about talk about more in a little bit. You don't just want to say like how to make money online, right? You want to like how, why do they want to make money online? What is their desired outcome? Is it that they want to quit their 9 to 5? Is it that they just want extra money, extra spending money, or they want to take their family on vacation, or they want to travel? You got to figure out, you got to peel back the layers and get down to like, why do they want this? Okay. Because actually I'm getting ahead of myself. So, basically the rule of one says that simplicity and specificity makes it easier for your audience to digest, which means they will be more likely to take action. I want you to remember these 3 S's, and you're probably going to hear me say this a lot: simple, specific, and short, or to the point. Those are the 3 keys to creating content that converts. I can move this, hang on. All right, my 3-step framework. Attract. So you probably have already heard this before. This probably isn't news to you, that your hook on screen is meant to attract them to stop their scroll. Again, I'm going to show you examples of hooks. Keep it short, simple, and specific. You're going to connect with them in the caption by telling your story and giving them a quick win or solve one specific problem. Again, this is meant to be easily digestible by your audience. When you're throwing a bunch of different problems at them, or you're throwing a bunch of different, like, hey, I can help you with this and this and this and this and this, they become overwhelmed and they check out completely. So by focusing on one problem, you want them to read your caption and think, holy crap, like she's talking specifically to me. I can take this information, I can go and implement it right now. Or they get that aha moment where you made them think about something in a different way, where they wouldn't have thought about it that way in the past. And then serve. So you serve them by giving them what they need. a lot of people will say like serve, don't sell, or serve before you sell, but really serving and selling goes hand in hand. Because when you look at selling as serving, everything changes. I would not be where I am today if someone or really several people hadn't sold me the information, the skills, the knowledge, and the resources that I used to get here. So when you think about when you're selling in your content, when you think about solving a solution and giving someone something that they actually need that could change their life, everything changes. And you want to do this, of course, by giving them something that they actually need and using a clear and actionable call to action. So state clearly why they're getting it or why they need it and what exactly they are getting. And I have written out my own caption framework for you to use, which we will go over a little bit, which talks about all of these things in more detail and how to do this. Creating your own strategy. So this is really about what you have the capacity for. A lot of people think that, oh, I have to be posting every single day, or I have to be posting multiple times a day to grow my business. And that's simply not true. If you need to scale back, to post less, to spend more time on creating messaging that actually converts, I want you to do that. Because there's no sense in trying to churn out post after post after post after post if it's not actually working for you. Your content, when you get your messaging super clear, will work for you over time, meaning a post that you posted days ago or even weeks ago is still working for you, generating new leads and sales. Again, there's 3 different types of content you should be posting: growth, nurture, and convert. However, the strategy that I'm teaching you really combines nurture and convert together. So in general, you should be doing about 50% growth content and then 50% conversion / nurture content. And growth content, just to be clear, that's more like relatable content where you're not selling, you're trying to just connect with your audience. Even though you aren't selling in your feed every day, even though you're not going to be posting converting content every day, you still want to make sure you're selling somewhere. So let's say you hard sell. Well, I don't know how that's drawing on there. Can you guys see that drawing? No, I don't know where the chat is.
I don't see any drawing yet, just some
Okay,
dots,
good.
some blue dots moving around.
Okay, good. Never mind. I saw like a green mark and I was like, I hope that's not on my end. Okay. So let's say you're hard
It was
selling.
me.
Yeah.
It was me. I think
Oh,
I accidentally did that.
okay. It's okay. I was
Sorry.
just like, oh, I don't even know how you do that. Okay, make sure you're selling somewhere. So let's say you're posting a growth type of content on your feed today. Sell in your stories or sell in your email. And the cool thing about creating content that converts, and I'm obviously speaking about feed content, so reels and carousels, is when you get your messaging clear, you can repurpose that into stories and vice versa, and even into emails and thread posts. So this goes way beyond just creating content that converts. This is really messaging that converts, and messaging is everything. Selling the transformation. Okay, so selling the transformation is all about understanding the perceived value of your offer or product. Where a lot of people go wrong is they'll focus on the price over the value, or they'll focus on the features of the product or the ingredients in the product, or this course has this many modules and this is what's inside of each module. When at the end of the day, your buyers make purchasing decisions based on their emotions first, and then they justify it with logic. So if they see you trying to tell them about all these amazing ingredients that are in the product or the modules, they probably are not reading that thinking like, oh, that's super cool. Like they honestly probably don't care. You need to focus on what they value with first. So that could look like freedom, clarity, belonging, assurance, confidence, community, energy, or mental focus. Ask yourself, what can my ideal customer or client gain from using my product or working with me? What results are they going to experience? What kind of transformation are they going to experience, right? Most of the time, you've experienced this, so you know. How will they feel? So you want to put yourself in their shoes, basically. So think about before you started this business or before you started using the product. Why did you make the decision to purchase it? It's probably not because it has XYZ magical ingredient, right? It's probably because you saw someone else sharing their results from using the product themselves. And you probably didn't buy that course because it has 25 modules. You bought it because you're tired of working a job you hate. So you don't sell skincare. You sell the confidence to leave your house makeup free because you no longer feel like you have to cover up your skin. You don't sell a weight loss supplement. You sell the feeling of being able to slip back into those skinny jeans for the first time in years. You don't sell a digital marketing course. You sell slow mornings and working on your own schedule to create your dream life. How to use your story to sell. Using your story to sell is very powerful because it's unique to you, which instantly makes you stand out because no one else in the world has the same story as you. It's also a really cool thing because it achieves the like, know, and trust all at the same time. So you know how I was talking about growth content versus nurture content versus converting content? Using your story almost does all three of those in one because it instantly creates relatability while also building trust and positioning you as the authority. You want to do this by switching you and say I because it takes the pressure off of them. Again, makes you relatable by telling your story. They are thinking, oh, like I can relate to you. Creating trust by giving them the value, educating them in the caption about here's the one thing that you should do to solve this problem or to get closer to solving that problem and getting that end result that they want. And then it demonstrates your authority by showing them that you've been where they're at now and you can help them get to where they want to be. So again, when you think of educational content, instead of saying how to, say how I, or 3 tips to, say 3 ways I. A simple storytelling framework is starting out by saying, I used to struggle with, or I used to struggle to, here's how I, or now I, show them that you have overcome this challenge already, and boom, I can help you get there, comment this keyword in exchange for the solution. And here's an example of one of my reels. This is actually pinned to the top of my profile if you do want to go check it out. It brought in 40 followers and I think about 15 leads. You can see there's quite a bit of comments. I think there's 80 comments. And I obviously use my storytelling framework here. I spent 4 years failing to build a successful business on social media, so you don't have to. Hate to break it to you, but selling in your stories every day and posting consistently isn't going to cut it. So that's a common misconception that a lot of people think they need to do to get the end result. And in the caption, I go into actually what it takes to get that desired outcome that they want. All right, creating a trust funnel to drive conversions. So studies have shown a 20 to 30% conversion rate when you send something for free versus sending a direct link to your paid offer or product, which only yields about a 2 to 3% conversion rate. So this is why it's so important to have a lead magnet or a free guide that you can send them versus just sending them like, hey, here's the link to buy my product. This is why over the last week, we have worked to create a super simple, specific, and short little quick win that they can read over, think, oh, like this was really helpful, or have that aha moment, which in turn they think about you because you gave that to them and they think, oh, I trust this person, or I trust this person more than I did, before. And then just some examples, which we went over already, but keep it short, simple. So like 3 tips to achieve desired outcome, or 5 steps to achieve desired outcome, 5 steps to balance your hormones, or 3 steps to or 5 steps to monetize your Instagram. Whatever that result or desired outcome that you're going to give them is what you want in the title. Again, the title needs to be short, specific, and simple, because you're saying, here's my free guide. You don't want them to have to think about what they're actually going to learn inside of it. And this obviously is going to funnel into your paid offer or your product. So ideally, somewhere in that little guide, usually at the end, you're going to have a call to action. Hey, here's the solution to your problem. All right, so kind of like putting all of this together, here are some examples of some short, simple, and specific high converting hooks. POV, you're a middle-aged woman who wants to lose weight without counting calories or going to the gym, and you find my account. Storytelling, I spent years searching for non-toxic skincare products that actually work to clear breakouts so you don't have to. Here's what I found. Hot take. I hate to break it to you, but asking ChatGPT to write your content for you is making you sound like a robot. Try this instead. Educational. How I went from $0 days, weeks, and months to making consistent sales without going viral. And relevant. POV, it's 4 o'clock and you're dreading dinner time because you have no idea what to cook until you discover my weekly meal planning guide that takes the guesswork out of dinner plans for your family. And here is my caption template that I was telling you about. You guys are going to get this, of course, but I just wanted to go over it really quick and kind of give you an idea of what your caption framework should look like. So, of course, you have the first line as the hook. We've all probably heard that you have 3 hooks, right? You have the visual hook, the hook text on screen, and then the hook at the beginning of your caption to get people to actually read your caption. So you want to start off by telling your story. When I first started, or believe it or not, there was a time when take them back in time and show them that you were where they are now. You have experienced the same struggles or challenges that they have felt. That's creating that relatability. And then you want to go in, so you're turning it around. You're saying, I've seen people with the same problem. There are 2 reasons why. But first, give them that call to action to grab your free guide. And then you're going to turn it around and say, so here's why you're not experiencing these results. Boom, boom. Sound familiar? It was for me too until I discovered. So again, you're relating it back to them like, hey, I've been where you're at. And then you're going into the solution, the call to action. And obviously your call to action is going to be for that lead magnet or free guide that's giving them a little bit of a quick win to get them that much closer to solving that problem and creating that trust with you. I want to leave you with this. Done is better than perfect. It is so easy to get caught up in overthinking your content, thinking that everything needs to be perfect or second guessing yourself. But taking action is truly the only way to improve and move forward in your business. So don't overthink it. Just post a dang content, because you will learn way more from taking messy action than anything else. And that's all. Now we will open it up for questions. Let me go to the chat real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. Does anyone have questions? Do you have a process? Do you have a process for creating hooks? I wouldn't say it's necessarily a process outside of keeping it simple, short, and specific. And when you're writing hooks, try to think about, instead of saying you, say I, and tell it from your perspective and tell your story. I'm going to be sending you guys, as soon as we get off of this call, the first content prompt for this challenge. So although this is technically called the 3-day conversion to content challenge, we are wrapping up on Saturday. So obviously that's longer than 3 days. The reason why I'm only giving you 3 is because I really want you to take the time to work on getting clear and specific in your messaging. I don't want you to try to churn out one post every single day and rush it or get burnout or anything like that. So yes, technically I do have a process for creating hooks, but you're going to get a ton of different hook templates from me. And if you don't already have my free guide, it's in my Stan Store, and it has all the hooks that I just went over and the caption template. So you can see some more there. Can you explain the 3 hooks that you mentioned? Yeah. So when you're filming reels, you want to make sure you have 3 hooks. So the first hook is the visual hook. So that's why you've probably heard people say, like, in the first couple to few seconds of your reel, you want to have some sort of movement in there to catch their attention. And then the hook on screen is the second hook. And then the first line of your caption is the third hook. And you will get these hook, you'll get the on-screen hook and the caption hook prompts in every day that I send these prompts to you. Should they be different? Yeah. So you mean the hook on screen and the hook in the caption?
Yeah, Katie. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of, like, I stopped sharing my screen. So the hook on screen would be like POV, you're a middle-aged woman who's struggling to lose weight and you don't want to go to the gym, and you find my account, right? There's the hook on screen. And then the first line in the caption could be, here it is, or the truth is, or I have a confession. Something that draws them in and makes them want to continue reading the caption as the idea of the hook in the caption.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Any other questions? And of course, you guys, if you have questions about the prompts or anything like that, you can ask in the Facebook or the Instagram chat. Sorry, I'm trying to find the chat again. All right, if that's all questions, then that's all I have. Oh, does all of our content have to speak to the same problem person, or can we speak to multiple problems as long as we keep each individual piece of content? So I would focus on the same problem and the same person in each piece of content, simply for the fact that, like, I know it can feel kind of scary or even confusing so, okay, let's just say your ideal client is a stay-at-home mom with multiple kids who's busy. Just because we get really specific in that one person that we're talking to in each piece of content doesn't mean that you're not necessarily going to attract people outside of that mold, if that makes sense. Like, for example, my ideal client is a mom with multiple kids, but I have a lot of you in here who either don't have kids or maybe your kids are grown and older. Does that make sense? Like, just because in your head you're thinking that you're talking to Sarah, who is a 35-year-old woman who wants to quit her 9 to 5, doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to attract a stay-at-home mom. It's just going to help you to, again, create that messaging that is so crystal clear that it's doing its job. Basically, it's attracting the right people, and it's moving them to take action because it feels like you're speaking directly to them. So short answer, yes, I would suggest on one problem or speaking to the same problem. Do you suggest niching down? Yeah. So basically that's what this is I don't really like to use the word niche because I feel like that word is so confusing, and at the end of the day, it's more so about getting specific in your messaging than it is niching down. Technically, yes, you're niching down, but again, just because you're speaking to this one problem in your content doesn't mean that they don't have all these other problems that your product solves, that you can communicate that to them in different ways, if that makes sense. Okay. Like, for example, I know a few of you sell a supplement that helps you lose weight, helps balance your hormones, and it helps to give you energy. So let's just say that you're posting like the main problem is losing weight, right? You're attracting people who want to lose weight. They probably want energy too, right? You see what I mean? And again, this method is used to help you master your messaging. And once you get that down, you can start speaking to other things in your it'll be way easier for you to speak to other problems in your content because you have the technique down, if that makes sense. So I don't want you to think like this is the end all be all, like, oh God, like I can never talk about anything else ever again. It's just for the simple, just for the simplicity of it, just to get your messaging down and to master the art of messaging. And messaging is basically just the words that you say. And it's the words that that's why I say, like, get into the head of your ideal customer, because, for example, I know a few of you sell, or I see people selling this cortisol cocktail, right? I am a 32-year-old woman with kids, and I didn't understand, like, I didn't know what cortisol was until like a year ago, which I know is crazy. But cortisol is the stress hormone. So instead of saying cortisol, maybe say stress, because they might not even understand that they have a cortisol problem. You see what I mean? But they know they're stressed. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. Thank you all. Oh, wait. They don't know the diagnosis. They know the symptoms. Exactly. Exactly. You just want to speak to their symptoms and kind of like dumb it down. Like, in your head, you're the expert, right? So you already have all the solutions. So that's why you're almost like thinking like it's obvious to them, but it's not. So think about like what you think is the obvious answer, they have no idea about. Kind of like dumb it down, if that makes sense. How many story slides do you post today? That's a great question. I would generally recommend around 5. I know there's been a lot of talk and like strategies out there about how to get the most story views or whatever. And you guys know I'm not like big on views. So short answer around 5. I wouldn't post more than like 10 to 12, just because as much as I love some of you, if I go to your story and I see that you have a bunch of little, whatever those dashes are called at the top, as a busy mom, I probably don't have the time to sit there and, read through or listen to all of your stories. So we're talking about strategy, keep talking heads to a minimum. Usually, they say don't go past the 60-second limit, but I would say no more than 1 talking head a day, and no more than 10 to 15, or no, 10 to 12 slides. I hope that answered your question. That was kind of all over the place. And each day can be different too. Like, I mean, if one day you post 12 slides and then the next day you only post 5, like it's not the end of the world if you post more than 12 slides or whatever. All right, if that's it, I'm going to end this, and I'm going to send you guys the prompt for today. Share your reel, so I have these prompts in a reel format, but if you want to repurpose it into a carousel, you can. Obviously, you would just basically use the caption and create carousel slides instead. And if you need help, I can always help you with that too. All right, I'm going to go send that prompt now. and I cannot wait to see what you guys create. Thanks, everyone.